Hello, everyone. I'm Rosie Stevenson Goodnight. I'm going to be speaking with you today regarding a project called Women in Red, and our topic, Making Women Blue. I want to tell you about how we've been working on building a community. So, Women in Red is a project that started July 2015 at Wikimania Mexico City. I stood on a stage that looked similar to this and talked about how few articles we had on English Wikipedia regarding women's biographies, women's works broadly construed, like the books they wrote, the paintings they painted, the sculptures they sculpted, the schools they founded, and women's issues, things like women's suffrage, women's health, and so on. And in the middle of that presentation, I said that Roger, my co-founder, and I were here to announce a new project. Starting today, let's start working on creating these articles all year round, not just the month of March, Women's History Month, but let's work on it all year. Yay. I expect... Thank you. What I expected was the equivalent of what we call 15 minutes of fame. I thought for a few days, a week, something like that, people might be interested in doing this, but you have astounded me in your support. So 25 months later, here I am again, standing on a stage at Wikimania, and I'm here to tell you that on English Wikipedia, Women in Red, large group, has created just over 52,000 articles regarding women's biographies, women's works broadly construed, and women's issues. Equally important in my mind is we've identified lots of notable women who don't have an article on English Wikipedia, and we've put them on these lists. We have over 300 lists of missing notable women, and we slice and dice this all different ways. We have crowdsourced lists. We have lists that come from dictionaries, biographical dictionaries. We have lots of Wikidata lists. So let me tell you a little bit more about this. About 2.5, 3 years ago, Charles Matthews, who's in the room next door, lives in England, and he mailed this book to me. It's the Diccionario Biográfico, Geográfico y Histórico de Venezuela, 1957 edition. I thought, oh, well, I'll translate the articles about women into English Wikipedia, and that'll be helpful, I'm sure. And then when we decided we would do this Women in Red thing, I thought, well, why don't I count how many biographies we have of women versus men? Because as I started going through it, all I saw were lots of men's names, men of the cloth, men politicians, men generals. So I went through and I counted. It's 3.6%. 3.6%, Venezuela, 1957. Fast forward to English Wikipedia, January 2015. This is when Roger and I prepared the proposal to even go to Mexico City. It was 15.5%. Again, yay, look at how great that is. But we were not impressed. We didn't have some big number in mind. We're not looking for 50%, 33%, 20%, no number. Just let's see if we can move the needle. And I can tell you, last year, June 26th, Escenolario, same kind of stage that I was standing on, we had moved the needle. It was at 16.34%. And I can tell you, August, now, 2017, 17.04%. I am not the statistician in this room. Somebody else can probably look at this and say, this is really remarkable. I understand, too, that as the number gets bigger, it's going to be harder to move the needle. We need more of you. So let's talk about how we've been multiplying the communities. We started off, as I said, on a stage with English Wikipedia, and now 11 language Wikipedias have an art and feminism page. You can see there the screenshot from the Chinese Wikipedia, and below you can see one from Albanian. And why I show you these pictures is so that you can see communities make it their own. They use a different logo, they have a different look and feel and style, and some of them don't even do this. They don't create pages for it, but they're doing the work. So a big shout out now to the Welsh Wikipedia. Because the Welsh Wikipedia has more than 50%, it's somewhere around 52 by my eyeball, 52% of the biographies on Welsh language Wikipedia are about women. Now, they used a bot. That's what helped them to get to where they are. But again, every community has its way. And so kudos to Welsh Wikipedia for what they have done. You can see English Wikipedia at the top of the screen only in terms of number of biographies that it has about women. But you can see that there are others, Japanese, Norwegian, Persian, Korean, and so forth, who have more than 20% of their biographies are about women. So this is all wonderful. We do events. We do lots of events, and our events are all virtual. That means anyone, anywhere, anytime can participate. We started off with 3-day events, then we went to 10-day events, and now we've settled on monthly events. We generally run about 3 events per month, so they run all month. You can see on the right side the list of events that we're doing in 2017. And right now we're at the very bottom of the right-hand column. We're doing Indigenous people, Indigenous women, women in peace, and Canadian women. But in total, we've done 53 of these edit-a-thons since were founded. We do also a lot of collaborations with people who do ground events. And these are just some of the pictures of some of the groups that we've done work with. I saw the art and feminism folks there, big shout out to them. But BBC 100 Women was a huge event that we did with Lucy and Wikimedia UK. The Women You Have Never Met, we did with Ibera Coop, and then HerStory with the UN. We also upload lots of images. They go to Commons, and from Commons we move them over into our pages. And here's just a few photos. I give you these as instances so that you can see that some of them are better quality and some of them are worse. And any of you who prefer to do work in images, you're welcome to participate in Women in Red as well. We need you, and improving these pictures would be helpful for the articles that are already out there. We spread the word through social media. You can see on the left what our Twitter page looks like, that we've tweeted about 8,100 times. And on the right, you can see something that got promoted on Facebook regarding a Women in Red meetup that was happening in Scotland. Let me tell you about some community innovations in this last year, in the last 12 months since I reported to you last. I'm going to start with a short video. It's 9 minutes. I'm going to cut it off at 6. So I'm not on a Mac, and I'm trying to figure out what to do.
Making Women Blue. Hello, I'm Roger Bamkin. I'm talking to you here from the United Kingdom. I'm going to be talking to you about the Women in Red project. And I'm going to be using as an example an editathon that we did earlier this year, which was from Newnham College on International Women's Day. Newnham College is part of Cambridge University. It's one of the few places where women are taught at university in a women's only environment. Generally, as you'll have noticed, there is a problem with the fact that women are underrepresented in society. That is a particular problem on Wikipedia. We do have the problem of the fact that there are not enough women editors, but the significant problem is the fact that there aren't enough articles about women. Rosie and I identified this 2 years ago. We did this in a very similar talk to the one you're seeing today. Using Wikidata, which was a new tool, we managed to establish the fact that women are generally represented 15.5% of the time. Over the last 2 years, we have run 50 online editathons. We've established a Pinterest page, we've established a Facebook account, we've established a Twitter account, and using these devices, we've written thousands of different articles, or rather, our volunteers have. And this is not just a problem on the English Wikipedia. This is a problem on the French Wikipedia, the German Wikipedia, Spanish, Igbo, Catalan, even the Welsh. And the Welsh have been particularly clever because the Welsh have actually used a bot to create thousands of brand new articles. So we actually have an example now of one Wikipedia that's got 50% women on it. Generally, though, for most of the language Wikipedias, the figure is around the figure of 15.5%. What I'd like to do today is to tell you a bit more about the editathon that we did at Newnham. I'm going to get two people to come and talk to you. One is a lady called Dame Carol Black, who's the lady who sponsored the event and is the principal of Newnham College. And then we were trying to talk to random people at the editathon, and we got one of the ladies who was a retired technician, and she thought that she'd got nothing to say to us, but we managed to persuade her to maybe come in front of the camera and at least tell us her name. So first you're going to hear from Dame Carol Black, and then you're going to hear from this retired technician. Thank you.
I'm Carol Black, I'm principal of Newnham College in Cambridge, and I'm very happy for this video to be used by Wikipedia, particularly to support women. Well, Wikipedia is the 7th most visited site, and therefore I know that our students will be visiting it, but I bet they're not visiting it to look at women. And I think one of the things I very much hope from today is that we get more women on Wikipedia and we get their biographies updated and improved. When you think about it, only 15% of the entries on Wikipedia are of women, and that can't be right when we have more women than men going to university. And I'm really pleased that some people from the university are coming, and we've also got some schools coming, and that's really where we need to start it. So when I wrote to all the heads of house and said, do come along and do this, one or two of them said, well, Carol, we better look and see whether we've got some women, you know. And one college told me that their entire Wikipedia entry as recorded in that college is all men. So they're going to do something about that today. So I think people, it's not being done on purpose. People just don't think about it. They assume women are there now. I think they assume they are.
In the last 2 years, Women in Red have run dozens of editathons from Scotland to Mexico at locations in Europe, Asia, North and South America. We've trained hundreds of new editors and created thousands of articles. Obviously, we don't convert every trainee into a committed Wikipedian, but when we do find someone, then it can be transformative. I met Dame Carol Black at the BBC, where we were supporting their 100 Women initiative. Carol was just another trainee, but she understood immediately the need to improve women's presence online. That one woman had the influence to invite Women in Red to conduct an editathon at Cambridge University. Not only Do we need editors to create more articles about women? But we need women to push themselves to the front and to make sure their name is on their creations and discoveries. Increasing the number of female role models on Wikipedia is not simply a means to an end, but it also can lead to women realising that achievement is not only for blokes. Rosie and I have written hundreds of biographies about women, and too frequently you can see a woman allowing their male boss, their husbands or their dad to take credit for their notable work. The BBC helped us to organise the Cambridge University Editathon on International Women's Day. There we met other notable women. You are going to hear from Peggy, who's a good example of our idea of one day, one woman. Rosie and I think that her talk could well be a recruitment video for women scientists.
So this last screen you saw while Roger was speaking was one of our newest initiatives. We rolled it out this month, and let me stand here on the stage and tell you about it. It's a new campaign, #OneDayOneWoman. We created a logo, take a look at it here, and it's available on Commons. And what this does is it will be a way to unite all of us, not just those who are tweeting from the Women in Red Twitter page, but also your personal page. You can use this in various languages, make it your own, change this. We have a librarian in residence now. Her name is Sue Barnum. She's a librarian from El Paso. She made this logo. She said, I'm going to be the Women in Red librarian in residence, and if anyone needs help with resources, I'm there for them. The University of Minnesota came to me and said that we will help you with recruitment. They're building a tool for us where they're going to drill down into our metrics and then be able to create a table of the article and the editor who created the article and how many articles that editor created for the month, so that we know whom we should maybe invite additionally to next month's event who isn't already on our opt-in list. We use tools and gadgets and techie stuff, but this is not our forte, and we could use some help. I am in love with the ORAS tool. We use this to check and see how we're improving our articles. I'm new to using WE Framework Gadget, but it is awesome because I don't have to leave Wikipedia to create my Wikidata entry. And I mentioned earlier the lists, all the lists that we have and how many of them are generated by Wikidata. Most proud I am of our recognition. In November, Women in Red was one of 5 organizations shortlisted for the ITU UN Women's GemTech Award in the category Applied Technology for Women's Empowerment and Digital Inclusion. Thank you very much. We just have a couple of minutes, but are there any questions? No?
I have a question. Are these articles missing for a reason, or do you find it difficult to find sources or information about these women online at all? How do you solve that problem?
So the question was, is it difficult to find the sources to write these articles? The short answer is sometimes. Some of these notable women have a plethora of reliable sources, and it's easy to write the articles, and some have very few, and it's very difficult. And so we're individuals, we're volunteers, we're from all over the world. We pick and choose what we want to write about, and sometimes we pick the easier ones, and sometimes we pick the harder ones.
Hi, Rosie. You mentioned the One Day, One Woman initiative that's going on right now, and I'm helping with the technical work behind it, but I have no idea what it is. Could you elaborate on what exactly the initiative is and how it differs from regular meetups and editathons?
We thought we wanted to do something unique and different, and I came up with the idea because we have like the one citation, one librarian or something, event that goes on once a year, and it kind of made me think about, well, why don't we do one day, one woman? And this can be used in all sorts of ways. Put it in your edit summary. Use it on Twitter, use it on Facebook, use it any way you want to use it. But maybe at the end of the year, next year, when hopefully I'm standing on a stage in South Africa, I'll be able to say, we were able to somehow track, maybe someone who's more technical will be able to help with the tracking, and we had so many instances of hashtag one day, one woman, and all the other language variations that we hope this spawns. So it's just new, it's different, and we hope it tracks things in a different way for us. We'll see if it works. Any other questions? Thank you very much.